Bush League Baseball back, episode number 2. I have a really important question.
What's that?
Are you still a Phillies fan?
It's a little.
My favorite thing since we've been doing this is me and you back and forth with the Philly stuff on Twitter and
the Dodgers.
All the places. And you know what? It's amazing how many Phillies fans come out of the woodwork. It's like they weren't Phillies fans until they heard that you were a Phillies fan, and now they're blowing me up about Phillies facts. The heck.
Good. I'm glad to know they're coming out of the woodwork.
You got some stuff on the back there. I like it. What do you got going on behind you?
Yeah, some of my old photos from back when I did the professional sports photography. I figured it looked a little better than a white wall last week.
I love it. I love it.
A funny story about that real quick. I got done this afternoon and I sent a picture, took a selfie here, and sent it to my son. I said, does this look better than last week? He said, yeah, it looks a lot better. But then he sends me a picture or a text back, and he's with a WTF in there, and he says, why do you got a picture of Mike up there from Cooperstown? He says, where am I at? So I had to go back out to CVS and get 2 more 8x10s made, the one over my head and this one right here.
You know what? Yeah, I'm with him. When my grandma had, this is many moon ago, my grandma had pictures of me at high school, you know, football and baseball, and I pitched sidearm. So like, I wasn't like, I got okay. But in the beginning, I was just, I was just average. But I was in the paper every dang week because my arm looked all contorted. It was great.
Yeah, for good photos.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to get in the newspaper, local pictures, throw sidearm, grunt a lot, and they'll notice it.
Well, this the one picture, well, over this shoulder here, that's a picture of Mike Trout when he was 10 or 11 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you took that picture, right?
Yeah, that's back when he played with my son for 3 years. They played with each other for 3 years on the team that went to Cooperstown to the Dreams Park. And then they played each other for 3 years in high school against each other. And my son's claim to fame is Mike Trout only hit in the one double play his whole 4 years of high school. And my son was the shortstop that threw him out on the double play with all kinds of major league scouts there when they were scouting. Awesome. Yeah, it was at my son's home field. So, yeah, that's his claim to fame.
So cool. So his claim to fame is better than mine. My claim to fame is I got sacked by Junior Seau.
That's a good person to be sacked by.
I mean, I wish I was saying, I straight armed him or I juked. He just allowed me to live another day. That's all that was. He was like a video game. Like,
are you still trying to get air back in your lungs?
You know what? So the story real quick, 3-step drop, right? 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3. Takes about a second at the most, certainly less than 2 seconds. I place my third foot down and not even all my weight's back. Boom. He smashes me to the ground. He lifts me up. He puts me back up. I've still got the ball in my hand. I don't know how that happened. Thank goodness. He puts me back up, and then he starts walking away. The guys are still blocking. All of it happened that fast. It was a muddy field. I got all this mud in my thing, and they're still – and I tossed the ball away because I don't want to get hit again by that Mack truck. It was nuts. And yeah, there's another play on. So this is on our highlight film. Okay, skinny post. Okay, so little skinny post. Travis Beasley's receiver. He catches the ball maybe 12 yards downfield, and it's on our highlight film. Okay, he runs, I don't know, 40, 50 yards. The pass, Seau is in the face of the throw, barely misses Seau. Who makes the tackle downfield? Seau. Boom, 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 boom. It was stupid. It was like fake. I haven't looked at that thing in 30 years, but I remember it like I saw it this morning. It was ridiculous. The stuff he did. I'm just glad I didn't, end up part of the field permanently. Anyway, as we record this, it is March 12th. Large worldwide and baseball-related news, which could have huge effect on us. I thought tonight we were going to talk about a couple things. I was going to try to get you to talk about we've got a fantasy baseball league, Disney YouTubers and podcasters, 20-team league. I'm really excited about it. I was going to talk to you about talking about that tonight, but I think we've got preempted by actual world news. What do you think?
Yeah, just a little bit. I was watching the MLB channel this afternoon, getting ready for tonight, and I was watching the Pirates Blue Jays game, and I guess it was about the 6th or 7th inning. They cut in on it and broke the news that the spring training was being shut down, and then the season's going to be delayed at least 2 weeks minimum.
My phone has been boop, boop, boop all day long with Disney news, baseball news. I mean, it's hard to get away from this COVID-19 virus right now. I mean, it is the only thing that matters right now in everyone's lives. I think it's insanely overblown, but the truth is the truth is the truth. Some things I love, MLB baseball, are done. Like 2 weeks delay, no spring training. I'll say it. I don't want to be alarmist because I'm not freaking out about COVID, but I'm going to freak out about baseball season a little bit. There's no way to replace those games unless you move the Fall Classic and it becomes the Winter Classic.
Well, the only good thing about it, though, this year, and I don't know what the reasoning was, but the season is starting really early this year. You know, usually when it starts this early, the last couple of years, they've had a couple games where two teams have opened up the season over in Japan.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen this year, so I don't know if they're trying to get away from the late October into November World Series games. I don't know if that's the reasoning, but at least they got a little bit of a cushion there.
I suppose that's true. I mean, I don't know. If everything, so here's my thing. If you're Disney, if you're Major League Baseball, if you're the NHL, if you're the NBA, whatever you are, and you shut it down, suspended it, whatever, for a little bit of March, maybe some of April, are you thinking, assuming, hoping that the worldwide situation gets better? Because in the United States, it's not about to get better. It's about to get worse. Now, I don't know that I think it's reason to freak out. I mean, 15 to 20,000 people are already dead this year of the flu. 15 to 40,000 die every year right now as we record this. I believe the number is 39 have died in the United States, 26 of which were in one nursing home in Washington. I'm not trying to make light of it. Anybody dying is horrible, but if we're reacting to it at this juncture, I can't imagine a scenario where in 6 weeks it's not in the hundreds.
Yeah, I just don't understand that. Now, I don't understand the craziness. I mean, yes, it's bad, but it's, I mean, the regular flu, like you said, tens of thousands die every year, and it's the same thing, young and elderly. So I don't get it.
Yeah, again, I don't want to be like anybody dying is horrible, but
no, absolutely.
I just, if they're already taking this step, I think we're 1994. I think we don't have 94. We have. I bet there's no World Series this year. I think it's over. I think the NBA's done. I mean, it's funny because I just did a video on my YouTube channel, Dole Whip down on YouTube, and I was kind of, what I'm doing different with COVID-19. I'm kind of mocking the silliness. I just talk about washing your hands. It's all, and so I'm kind of saying, hey, calm down, people. I'm more freaked out. Maybe this makes me a Neanderthal sports nut, but I'm more annoyed that baseball's done. I mean, NBA, NHL, I don't think it's coming back this year. I know the NCAA tournament's done.
Yeah, that's done.
That's 23 NCAA sports are done. Yeah. It's not going to get better until summer, if then.
Yeah, well, where it started from, it's starting to go down over there, and I believe it started what, in late December or mid-December over there?
I think we were becoming aware of it in December. I wouldn't swear to that, but I think so.
Yeah, so if that's the cycle, a 2 month or whatever.
Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, said last week that in China the systems are coming back on. I heard somewhere that the Starbucks are starting to open. My point is not everything's fine. My point is they're coming out of it. But come on, it's a pandemic. It goes like this. If you're just listening, the curve gets steeper. Yeah. I don't think there's any chance that we're going to have 39 dead in 6 weeks. If we have 39 dead now, we're going to have a couple hundred dead minimum then. And whether it's worse or better, the headline's still going to say hundreds.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to be the justification for opening it up until, I mean, Disney is closed. Nobody's got it in Disney. Nobody's got it from the, I think that this NBA player getting it started, gave them a reason to. All the chips are falling now. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that was the reason, and that was, the straw that broke the camel's back there. But supposedly today, a second player from the Utah Jazz tested positive.
Yep.
So
you see the video of the kiddo who was the first one they mentioned, and he was touching everything and kind of mocking it, and then a couple days later, he got it.
I did see that.
I don't know him, but everything I read today was he's a nice guy, and that's too bad. But Oops.
Yep. Oh, well.
I'll just ask you, do we start in 2 weeks, Major League Baseball?
No.
Do we play before the All-Star game? Do we have a season?
Yeah. I think we play before the All-Star game. I think that probably the end of April. Maybe beginning of May, but I don't think there's any way, because you got to realize too, once they say we're going to play games, I mean, if they're off for a length of time, they're going to have continuous spring training for a little bit, at least for the pitcher's sake, to get them back on track. So it's going to be.
Well, I believe the players aren't going to. They're not going home. They're not going on vacation. They're still going to work out.
Well, that's the thing they're undecided at. The players are sticking around. Are they going to send them home? They're going to stay to continue to work out, which is probably the smart thing to do. I mean, it's just.
There's no reason to keep them.
So we'll see. But I mean, I believe it was after the strike or one of the previous shutdowns that they had like an 8-game or an 8-day preseason.
Yeah, that's right.
To work out a little bit before they, the season kicked in again.
Well, I mean, there are those players out there who I guess can get some advantage out of that if you're right. I mean, there's the Michael Confortos and the Justin Verlanders who are hurt right now and didn't look like they're going to be ready for opening day.
Yeah, that's true.
So there could be an advantage in that.
That'll help my Phillies.
Right? Yeah.
I cut you back.
I don't know that I think as positively as you. I mean, we're just guesstimating it. 10 hours ago, MLB hadn't suspended the season. 10 hours ago, Disney hadn't shut down all the parks in the United States. I mean, the world has changed. So I was talking to my best friend on my drive home tonight, and it was amazing. The world has changed so much since we last talked 3 days ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's an overreaction, but in the end, somebody said there's going to be more people who are going to go bankrupt for this than are going to die by leaps and bounds. And it's not the same. Obviously, death is worse than bankruptcy. I don't want to sound like I'm, whatever the word is related to people dying. I think that it's not what I put in my video tonight. It's not what happens. It's how you react to it. And I think we're reacting poorly.
Well, not baseball related, but you mentioned Disney. I did see that supposedly they're going to pay the cast members while the shutdown is going on.
Right before I came upstairs to set this up, I told my daughter, hey, Walt Disney World shut down. And that was the first thing she said. I hope Disney pays everybody. And I bet they will. I mean, easy for me to say, and how long can it go on? But the PR hit would be rough.
I just had right before I set up to come on here with you, I had a friend of mine texted me that I believe she said her sister-in-law, her niece was supposed to do a cheerleading competition down at Disney, and they just landed this afternoon. And when they landed, that's when they found out it was closing.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not like I was down there and my flight got canceled for Hurricane Dorian, but it's a different situation. I mean, you don't know when it's going to open again. You're not about to leave. Like that was the day I was leaving. Oh, that's rough. I mean, I just booked this week. We booked our next 2 Disney trips, one in October and one in next March. Like it's March right now, next March. So,
okay.
People book way out in advance. I mean, what can you do? You don't know.
Mm-hmm. What else we got to talk about here, baseball?
I think it comes down to this. Do you think we have a season? Do you think we start in the end of April?
Oh, absolutely. Baseball, the other sports, it could be iffy because they're so late in their season. But baseball absolutely will have a season.
If it goes past April 31st, how do you do it?
That's stuff that they have to iron out as far as, amount of games. Definitely not going to be a 162 game schedule. I mean, it could be down.
We're going to modify it.
Yeah, they have to.
I would think if you started at the All-Star break and you made it an 81 game season, that might make sense.
I don't think that it'll go that far.
The schedule is going to be unbalanced insanely. You think anybody's going to care? I mean,
well, there's nothing you can. I mean, if it does happen, what can you do about it? Something like this has never happened. I mean, they'll come up with a plan, and there'll be some sort of a season. But I think it's probably going to wind up being in the 140 range.
Wow, I like to think of myself as Mr. Positivity. I hope you're right. I'm on the other end of that. I think if we have a season, it's no more than 80 games, and I hope we have that.
Well, the one thing that usually helps too in the when the season first starts, they always have those off days. I mean, when they open up the first home and away series, there's usually you play a game and then you're off. So there's less games that they play in April, so that's going to help. They start up in May. I mean, if they lose, what, 20 some games, be around 140 maybe, up 130s. But I think by May they'll be back.
Well, I hope you're right. I really do. I mean, I know you want to move off it. I think, I don't know. I'm worried. And I'm losing my voice. But if you want to talk about some baseball, it's not on the field, but did you hear about Pete Alonso's salary?
No. What?
So the Mets and their all-star first baseman agreed to a 1-year contract, $652,000+. This dude was a rookie last year. He has no leverage. There's no arbitration for years. It's the largest contract ever outside of somebody who signed like a long-term contract. A renew, $652 the Mets gave him. I have no idea why.
Well, they didn't have to, but I mean, right. I don't know what the minimum is now. I know it creeps up every year or whatever, but like when Mike Trout was a rookie, I forget what year was it, 2012, 2013 when he won his first MVP.
Yeah,
I believe that year they gave him like a $15,000 or a $20,000 bump, and he was making like $565 or something like that, which is still a lot of money.
Well, I mean, for normal people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alonso, don't worry. He's going to make a ton of money in his career. That kid's phenomenal. And the good thing about him, where'd he go to college? He's a Gator.
He's what?
He's a Florida Gator.
Oh, that's right. I think I saw that. Yeah. What do we got? The minimum salary. I'm trying to find it. Where did it go? MarketWatch.com says the average salary for Major League Baseball players. Oh, it's not for the second year. It's the second. Never mind. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool in the sense that, the players who should get paid. I don't like it when the managers get paid as much, or the owners get paid as much as the players. I go to see the players. I don't go to see the owners.
Yeah.
But wow, this is a large raise for somebody that had no leverage.
I mean, how much money did the Mets make off of him last year? Let's be real here. The Mets made a ton of money last year selling his jerseys.
The system is set up to have a deal on the players for the first 3, 4, 5 years, and then they balloon up. I mean,
yeah. Oh, they didn't give him a ton of money over what his second year salary should be as far as their contract goes with the MLB, but he probably got maybe 20 or 30. Yeah, he got a nice little bump. That's good. Yeah. It's good for him. He deserved it.
He certainly had a great year, the greatest home run hitting year of all time for a rookie. So Mark McGwire hit 49 in 87. I think Cody Bellinger ended at 48, and then Pete hit a couple over 50, right? The most ever. What kind of career do you think he's going to have? Is he going to be?
This is usually the year that tells. What do they call it? The sophomore slump.
I agree. So the second year you can tell a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a hitter. I don't think
they're even their main first base prospect. Dominic Smith was the first baseman of the future for the Mets 2 years ago, even coming into camp last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he started out hot last year and he didn't let up. So he's going to be a good player for him. I hate to admit it, it's going to be nice beating up on him, even with him over there.
So I made fun of the whole Phillies thing mostly just because you're a Phillies fan and it's fun. The NL East is looking pretty tough. Like I've seen people picking the Mets. I
wouldn't go that far.
Braves. I can
believe the Braves. I think it's going to be a 3-team division. The Phillies, the Nationals. Like we said last week, I think the Nats are going to take a step back. They got to with losing Rendon.
I can't imagine how they wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean you have to. And then, staying healthy and all like that. But it's going to be the Braves, the Phillies. I think we're the Nationals. But I think the Braves are going to win the division this year.
Yeah, I think their pitching's pretty deep. It looks pretty good.
And like we said before, the young talent they got. They're like, I compare them to Toronto. I mean, it's just sick the amount of young talent. Toronto, I was watching that game a little bit today, and Guerrero hit a bomb, and then the kid from Florida, Dante Pichette's son. He smoked Guerrero to right center field.
They got Guerrero, they got Bichette, they got Biggio. It's like a 90s all-star team. What the heck?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and they were just saying, I think Guerrero turns 21, and a couple of the kid's not even 21 yet, and he's.
This time last year, he was up with the big club for spring, and I remember watching maybe a 4-minute video. I don't know, it wasn't long, of him taking batting practice. the sound. I love the sound off of a bat when a guy hits the ball hard. That's my jam.
Yeah, you can tell.
Oh my goodness, to do that once.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have loved it. I didn't. It didn't sound like that coming off my bat. I'll tell you.
No, you and me both.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where I stand on the Jays this year. They've got a really tough division also, but
yeah, they're a few years away. Now they picked up one of your pitchers, right? That one come
Ryu,
up
yeah. Yeah, Ryu, he's been solid. I like him a lot. He was a Cy Young Award winner going into August for sure, and then he regressed a little bit, but he was Greg Maddux like. That guy's control is elite.
Yeah.
So I think going to the AL and hiding out in Toronto's not going to do much for his popularity, but he's elite. I like him.
That's a good pickup for them. That they were short on arms over there, but they're still a little young. I mean, they might surprise this year. You never know. I mean, and it all comes down to injuries. I mean,
you got the Yankees who have been, decimated by injuries right now. Starting late certainly doesn't hurt them.
Starting last year, I mean, would they have 26? I think it was mid-20s on the DL last year. Players,
and they still had more wins than anybody. I mean, they had a great year. Stanton did nothing for them. Let's be real. Judge did very little for them last year.
Yeah. They're starting out again this year. Judge is hurt. Stanton's hurt again.
And more. Then the list goes on and on and on. Herman is gone for 60 days. They just lost a stud pitcher. So this might help a team like that, but they're certainly probably the odds-on favorite in the AL East. I like Tampa Bay a lot. There is a ton of talent on that roster in Tampa Bay.
The only sad thing is they can never keep it. That's the only thing. They got always come up with a good farm system and bring them to the majors, but they can't keep them.
Well, I mean, for 2020, if we have a season, they're not going anywhere. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
they're good.
They were good last year.
Yeah, I'm a Dodgers fan, and I loved when we got Friedman. I mean, he did such a good job, the GM, Andrew Friedman. He did such a good job filling the pipeline there, and then to give, with no money. Now he can do the same in LA with all the money, and he is. The Dodgers system is just chock full of studs. I mean, the top 10 Dodgers prospects are probably, the bulk of them are probably in the top 50. I mean, it's in all of Major League Baseball. It's a really good system. I don't know who the GM is there now, but obviously they're talented. They're a talented group, and everybody's given up on the Red Sox. I don't think they're going to win.
I don't think the Red Sox. I think they're going to take a step back. Plus, they haven't come out yet with the investigation and them with the.
That's a good point.
With the scandal. So, I know preseason you can't go by preseason. They haven't looked good in preseason, but again, that's not their regular players playing every day. But it doesn't. We'll see what happens. I sent you that one text today. I thought it was a little funny there about the Astros.
I hope so badly that we have a season. And I hope that the Astros go 162. My buddy Andy, who I mentioned, my best bud, he when we were talking, he said, before we talked, he texted me. He said, "All right, if we don't have a season, it looks like your Dodgers are going to get away with not losing a World Series this year."
They're not going to get to the World Series. You can mark it here. Atlanta's going to take them out in the NLCS.
Have you seen the Dodgers roster?
Yeah. Have you seen Have you seen Atlanta?
So, bullpen or starting pitching or offense or defense, which one does Atlanta look to you better than LA?
Okay, it's a 162-game season.
And I figured the Braves might win a couple against the Dodgers.
How many years did the Yankees buy the best team in baseball and they didn't make it to the World Series?
I don't understand that.
That's why you play. What's the old saying? I forget who said it. That's why you play the game.
The great Tommy Lasorda used to say, "There's 54 games that you're going to win, and there's 54 games you're going to lose. It's what happens in those other 54 games." And you know what I'd say? I'd rather have the best roster for all 162.
That's my pick for the National League, the Braves and Dodgers in the NLCS.
I mean, that's a good pick. I mean, I'm being silly, but that's a good pick. No one would truly argue with that.
I like the Braves this year. If they do get back to the playoffs, they got a year of experience under their belt. Last year, them young kids got a taste. Now they're hungry for it. So, and like you keep saying, it's all about staying healthy. I mean, Kershaw with the Dodgers, they say he's healthy, but you don't know how he's going to hold up with his back.
He touched 94 the other day, which, I mean, it's not, It's not Nolan Ryan, but it's not
Corey Seager. I don't think he's been back fully since he's had his surgery. What was that
last 2
about?
years? Yeah, very good. People are picking him for MVP a couple years ago as a
when he came up, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at the top 10 shortstops in Major League Baseball, where you're looking at a fantasy list or actual real baseball list. It's changed drastically in the last 3-4 years. I mean, Seager and Correa and those guys were thought of as, Addison Russell. Those guys were thought of as the next generation. They've been passed by guys like Trevor Story and.
I don't understand
though. So many.
When do you ever remember hearing position players needing Tommy John surgery? It just seems like the last couple of years it's been more and more and more.
Yeah. Well, I think we know a lot more about it. I mean, truth is the truth. More people are getting Tommy John surgery because more people know that it can help. I mean, that surgery has come a long way. I mean, it used to be the end of a career for a pitcher. Now it's, Lance McCullers is flipping those curveballs.
Some of them wind up coming back better.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
You see the kid from the White Sox, Kopech, is that how you pronounce his last name?
I think it's Michael Kopech.
Yeah, he came back the other day, and his first pitch hit 100 miles an hour after Tommy John.
That's nuts. Yeah.
His first pitch on the mound.
I'm excited to see that guy. See, and that's the thing. Like, obviously I'm a Dodgers fan, and I want my Dodgers to win. But the truth is, if they lost every game, I like coming home and listening to a game on the radio and putting the game on. I just love it. I love it. It's the summer. I can't imagine a year without baseball. It just breaks my heart.
Do you have your iPad there or your computer? Can you look it up? I believe there's 31 other teams in baseball. I don't think the Dodgers are the only team in the league. I think there's another 31 out there at least.
Looking up, wishing they were Dodgers, I totally agree. So I don't know anything else. I mean, we've talked about a couple things. Obviously, we talked about the season being suspended. That's the big news. Anything you wanted to talk about before we?
While we're talking here, obviously, you think the Dodgers are going to the World Series. Who do you think they're going to play? Who do you think they're going to play in the NLCS?
In the NLCS. Well, I mean, I like the Padres for growth. So I think that they have a shot at a wild card. I think in the Central, boy, I don't know what I think in the Central. I really don't. And I do like your Braves pick in the East. Yeah, I think the Braves would be the obvious decision there because I don't know what I think about the Central. And while I do think the East is going to be tough, I think the Braves are the next best team. So yeah, I would have to say, if I had to pick right now, the Braves are the team that gets to get swept in the NLCS.
All right. So I'm saying the Braves are going to go to the World Series. You're saying the Dodgers are going to go. Now in the American League, who do you think's going to be in the ALCS there?
So in the AL East, I like the Yankees and the Rays a lot. In the Central, I don't think the Indians are going to be as bad as people think. I don't think the White Sox are ready, but I think the Twins have a good chance to.
That's the winner. That's the winner in the Central.
I think so. I think it'll be tight, and it's a pretty even division now. So we'll see. Somebody could slip in there, but I think it'll probably be the Twins. And in the West, I think it'll be the Astros. I think with the Yankees injury situation, obviously, who knows what's going to be like in October. But they would be the team of the teams I just mentioned. They would be the most likely team to not make it just because you don't know what's going to go on with injuries. I want to pick the Rays, but it'll probably be the Stros, which breaks my heart.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I think my Dodgers taking trash cans and pounding them into the Astros' former and potentially future World Series title would be great. I think the Dodgers in 5 over the Cheaters. I mean the Astros.
I'm picking a Twins Braves World Series, a rematch.
Braves? That was Kirby Puckett, right? Yeah,
was 91.
I was in Vegas that weekend. I remember watching Kirby make that crazy catch he made. I was in a casino at the time watching it. I was nuts. Good.
Best World Series game I ever saw.
Well, what, the Jack Morris?
Yeah, going 10 innings.
Whew, he was Oral Hershiser right after Oral Hershiser was that guy. That guy was good. That guy was.
Tom Kelly could have came out there to take him out of the game, and I think he would have drugged Tom Kelly back into the dugout, and told him to get off his mound. He was not coming out of that game.
That's one of the great postseason performances of my lifetime. I mean, that year, Jack Morris was. I mean, I really do. I think it's up there with the '88 Oral Hershiser. Obviously, I'm a Dodger guy, but
really, I don't think
you haven't noticed. Yeah,
no, I hadn't noticed that yet.
Dodgers are good. Go Dodgers. I mean, in my lifetime, I don't know what I'd put higher than those two from a pitcher perspective in the playoffs. Maybe I'm forgetting one, but oh well, Mad Bum. I hate that guy too.
Yeah, he was good though. You can't take that away from him.
Did you? Yeah, I can't. I hate that guy. You hear? You hear he came up with a fake name and was riding rodeo. I want to love him, but I really don't. He should go get the ball out of the bay. How about that?
I was hoping the Phillies were going to sign him.
Really? See, in all honesty, so many innings. I don't know that I'd want to pay as much as they pay.
Yeah.
I was hoping that I hate the Giants. As much as I love the Dodgers, I might hate the Giants that much too. I know, shocking, right? And I was hoping they'd resign him because I like the Giants being bad.
Well, hopefully come late October, you're sending me texts with the little crying emojis and when your Dodgers get knocked out and then the Braves and Twins are in the World Series.
I would like that World Series if my Dodgers couldn't get there. I do like those picks. But no. I think there's a better chance of us not having a season than my Dodgers not winning the NL West.
There's gonna be a season.
I hope you're right, my friend. I hope you're right.
So what else were we going to talk about here this week? What story do you got to share with us this week?
I want to talk about Pete Alonso, and then I thought the Corona ending of the season would be the secondary one. If you're looking nostalgia, I got plenty of those. Is that what you mean?
Well, I got a little. It's not a long story, but it's a crazy story, and it was one that I'm like, what? Snapped my neck around and like, what the heck did I just hear? I was when I was doing photography, I did about 50 to 60 Phillies games a year, and one night I went out to always went out to do BP and got the fluff photos, the players working out or in the dugout or just like candid shots. So I wrapped that up and I went in and I was getting the photos ready to send them into the company that I work for, and then I usually after that would go upstairs to go to dinner up in the lounge, the press box up top. So I left the photographer's room downstairs behind the dugout, and I stopped in the men's room. I came out of the men's room, and I hear somebody, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Okay, who's that?" I turn around. It's the Philly Fanatic. I'm like, "Wait a minute." The Philly I never heard the Philly Fanatic talk. It was funny. It was just him and his handler. He was bebopping coming down the hall. You could hear his feet clapping on the floor, but I had the Philly Fanatic ask me how I was doing. You never heard him speak.
Have you seen the video of Tommy Lasorda beating the poop out of
I loved it. I was at some of those games when Tommy Lasorda, he would the Fanatic used to bring out on his little quad. He would bring out it was in a Dodgers uniform. He must have stuffed it with the shirts and all to look like Tommy Lasorda. And he would do things in front of the Dodgers dugout, and Lasorda, I don't know if he was really mad, but he was acting like he was mad, and he would storm out of the dugout and steal it from him. And, it used to be great. Him and Lasorda used to go back and forth.
I still got a contract out on that stupid Fanatic.
I used to love him and the chicken.
San Diego chicken, I'm down for. I grew up in San Diego. He was the KBG chicken. I'm a fan of The Godfather. I'm a fan of Sopranos. I'm a fan of Tommy Lasorda. Watch out, Fanatic. I'm for you. I will say this, though. I wasn't going to go there, but the San Diego chicken is, in my estimation, the greatest of all.
Oh, he was nuts. And he just died off. I think, pardon the pun, but I think he got a little foul.
This was brilliant, though. I was actually there it was insane. It was like, the Padres were horrible, so it was the biggest draw. But the day that he came out of the
egg,
and it was
eggshell, he hatched.
95, I don't know when. I grew up in San Marcos in San Marcos, California, in northern San Diego County. KGB chicken, before he was the San Diego chicken, the KGB chicken. KGB was a local radio station, and I met him before he, in his costume, before he was the San Diego chicken. And I got memorabilia of him somewhere. It's actually, he was iconic. Hilarious guy. And even continuing when he was beyond being with the Padres, he would go to minor league stadiums, and when he was there, they would sell out every time. He was a huge draw because he was hilarious. And I don't like the Fanatic because don't mess with Lasorda, but
the Fanatic's great.
He's the second greatest of all time.
There he is right there behind me. There he is right behind me there.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a fastball at his noggin if I get a chance. I think that's it for that. What do you think?
Yep. We'll see what happens, and hopefully we'll be back talking some more baseball in a couple days.
we'll have stuff to talk about. I just hope there's baseball to talk about. Episode 2, Bush League Baseball in the can.
Well, just one more thing. One more thing I want to add here while we're on here, and you're talking about your fantasy baseball, and I'm glad the
fantasy baseball. You're in the league.
Well, my one division. I was happy to see that one of our friends from YouTube here at Steve's World, he's in my division, so I'm going to have.
Well, okay. So hold your horses. What I was planning on doing was doing a live who's in divisions. I've got some ideas to get some people excited. So that was just, I didn't put any with divisions. I'm gonna let it go random. We should talk offline, but I don't think the divisions are set yet.
Oh, darn. I was hoping to go back and forth with him all year.
I mean, you're going to get to anyway. He's a great guy. Yeah. You don't know, we're talking about Steve from Steve's World. Check him out on YouTube. Steve's World is a great channel, part of the Disney crew. Yeah, it's 20, me and you, and 18 more people in this league. That's a huge fantasy baseball league.
Yeah, it's big.
4 divisions of 5. I think it's going to be a blast. I think that me and you on this show and our other shows will be able to talk about it, promote each other's channels, all those fun things. But give me a chance to remind you, not only did my Dodgers beat your Phillies, but my Pinocchio hitters bumped on your, I don't know the name of your team.
When was the last time the Dodgers won a World Series?
1988, baby, Kirk Gibson.
Okay. 2008, how many years is that? Less years.
If we're talking about history, unless you're the Yankees or the Cardinals, I believe the Dodgers have more than anybody. If you're talking about current, clearly the Dodgers are the team to beat. So do you want to talk about history or current?
I definitely got to put that ad out.
For another host?
We're looking for a new co-host here. Applications are being accepted.
I knew you were going with that. All right, so if you hate the Phillies, watch the show. If you love the Phillies, you should watch the show too. Where else can they find you, see you, listen to you, hear you? Blah, blah,
blah. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. Our Facebook page is starting to grow. I believe in a little bit over a week, we're about to hit 150 followers already.
And that's you, my man. I haven't done nothing. I've had a crazy busy week since we last.
So hopefully, if you want to, we've been posting all kinds of things on there, and my son is involved with that, and he's been making a lot of posts on there also.
He'll be on the show, right?
Yes. And then a lot of my old pictures, I'm repurposing and I'm putting them, photo of the day or photo of the week or whatever. I got some good old photos, especially of a lot of players that have been inducted in the Hall of Fame or will be. You can also, on Instagram, same thing on there. You follow us at Bush League Baseball on Instagram. And then once we get rolling, the videos and hopefully the lives will be on the Bush League Baseball YouTube channel.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So, and you've got a podcast I don't think you mentioned yet.
Yep. That was a fun week this week. Yep. Oh, forgot I was wearing this.
What's that say there?
Magic of the Mouse podcast.
Magic of the Mouse podcast. I've been on the Orlando guy. My buddy was on this week. I haven't listened to it yet. I'll probably listen to it.
Yeah, he was really good. He's
a great guy.
I just was in awe talking to him for the hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and he's got that DJ voice. That's for sure.
I love his content. You're going to love that. So check him out on the Magic of the Mouse podcast. Also Magic of the Mouse TV YouTube channel. I'm Dole Whip Dad on YouTube, and we'll putting the sports content on the Baseball Breaking Baits podcast, Baseball Players YouTube. That's too much. I'm going to shut up now. I was going to talk to you about 6'10" Ryan Anderson, but we'll talk about that next time. If I remember.
More Dodgers.
No, he was a Mariner. It's a good story. We used to go to spring training a lot, and it is what it is. That's it for tonight. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Get over to Magic of the Mouse podcast. Give them a listen. And,
go like us on our Facebook or Instagram. We're going to be posting a lot more stuff as the season hopefully comes up.
Well, even if the season doesn't come up, we're going to have lots to talk about. I mean, baseball's 365 in my brain. I don't know about yours.
Mine also. Like I told you last week, as soon as the World Series, the final out, I set the timer down to when pitchers and catchers report.
Me too. And now they unreported. Well, not really. And as always, I end with the most important thing. Go Dodgers.
Go Phillies. Come on now.
That's it. Have a great night.
Your plugs.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Later.
Later.